Today, while we're all on day God knows what of staying home, I wanted to take on a slightly less serious subject of the staying at home business. I did have to go out to the pharmacy to pick something up. Um, right when this started and everything started closing down, I broke a tooth. And I didn't just chip a corner, I broke the entire back side off of my back tooth on this side at the top down to actually below the gum line. So you want to talk screaming toothache? Right here. I never knew that one of my favorite products during the zombie apocalypse, which is what I used to jokingly refer to, I was never a major prepper, but I did keep some things on hand, and I always, if people asked, well, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to need all that stuff. I would say, well, the zombie apocalypse is coming. Not that I believe in zombies. It was just kind of my way of saying, anything could happen. Natural disaster, financial hardship, whatever. So I started, being a prepper, like baby prepper, nowhere near how some people, are like super, prepper. I just started keeping some extra stuff in. One thing I never thought to keep extra in, because who knew that during the zombie apocalypse I would break a tooth to the point that I pretty much want to cry if I accidentally let anything hot or cold or sweet, or for that matter, pretty much anything, go over to that side of my mouth. I drink my protein shakes and eat my yogurt leaning this way, just so gravity won't accidentally bring it over to that side of my mouth. So here we have some generic Ambisol. This has become my new best friend. So I was, as you can see, this tube is kind of getting a little flat there. I went to the pharmacy to pick some up. My Walgreens they had sent everybody an email saying that basically if you come up to the drive-through window, they'll give you a list that kind of breaks down into categories: the essentials, cold medicine, household goods, canned goods, that kind of thing. And then there's a little comment section where you write, this is what I would prefer if you have it, kind of what you're looking for. And, then you kind of pull around and wait. They said give them up to a half hour. And, either if it's just a couple small things that would fit through the drive-through window, you can pick it up there. Or if it's larger things that would not fit through, then you would go up to, go into the store straight to the register, and they would have it ready and packed up for you. They're trying really hard to limit the amount of time that people have to spend in the store, and the amount of customers that would be in the store at the same time. So I really do applaud Walgreens for that effort. Anyway, so this morning I'm going to go to Walgreens to get more stuff for my tooth, right? Who knows when it's going to be feasible to get out. And this isn't going to be something a regular dentist can do. I know from past experience, once a tooth is broken off low like that, you need an oral surgeon to remove it. And right now isn't the time for that, let's face it. So I was like, okay, as long as it doesn't seem to be abscessing, which it's not, there's no swelling. I mean, the tooth itself obviously kills, but as far as my face, there's no swelling or, heat or anything that would indicate an abscess. If that were to happen, I would call my primary doctor and get an antibiotic to hold me over until the craziness subsides in the hopefully near months. I'm not one of those people who's buying near weeks, and I hope none of you are either, because that will just make it keep spreading. Of course, I also live in New York State, but if you think that it can't spread from your state, now I do not live in New York City, so do not hold me responsible. I'm not one of the people fleeing which is basically now the epicenter of the world for this outbreak. I live way upstate. I'm closer to Canada than I am to New York City. So I'm not one of those people who decided to flee New York City without knowing if I was infected so that I could spread it all over the rest of the country and possibly world. Hopefully most airlines are not doing international flights for other than emergency business. So I would hope people aren't taking it to other countries. If those countries, I mean, I'm sure they're having enough of their own problems. But people certainly have fled New York City to other parts of the country. So if your locality is low case now, let's just hope that no New Yorkers came to your neighborhood. Anyway, so I go out and I'm going to just make a quick run, go to the drive-in window. I even called ahead. And I was like, I don't need the whole list. And like, I'm on like a first name basis. I am so small town where I live. When you walk into the pharmacy, normally they ask you your name and date of birth. In my pharmacy, they're just like, they look at you and they walk straight back to the rack of where, the prescription meds that were filled, and they grab yours and come up and ring you up. I mean, they know everybody by name who comes in there. Like, they just see your face and they know who you are. I guess by face, I should have said, not by name. Which I think is just so cool because I've never lived anywhere like that before. So anyway, when I called, I got my regular pharmacist and I was like, hey, is there any way you can email me that list? She's like, no, we're not really doing that. She's like, it's a pretty short list. It's kind of just the essentials. I was like, okay, really what I need is Ambisol. She's like, I said, can you put, do you have any? She's like, yeah. I said, can you grab a couple and put them aside and I'll be there. Let me just throw some, I was in pajamas still. I was like, let me just throw some clothes on. I'll be there in like 20 minutes. So I go outside to start my car and the battery is dead. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to panic. I am a responsible car owner. I recently purchased one of those, it's basically like an extra car battery with jumper cables attached. They're itty bitty little jumper cables. They're not like jumper cables. That looked like I was being obscene. I didn't mean for that to look obscene. But it's so that you don't need someone else's car. Like if you were stuck in the middle of nowhere with no traffic, which is very, I had a moose munch avalanche, which is very likely when you live in the middle of nowhere. It's better to have one of these type devices. And I wanted one for a while, but they're usually pretty pricey. So when they went on sale at Harbor Freight, I did get one. So I'm like, I will be Miss Independent. I will go out there, and even though I read the directions twice and I'm not 100% sure that I know what I'm doing, I know enough, I think, about the process not to electrocute myself. That's a good place to start. So, okay, my battery's dead, which means I can't get the car to unlock the back doors. So I'm climbing through the front seat. I have a Suburban. If you're not familiar, a Suburban, yes, it's listed as a passenger vehicle because it has a third row of seats. I took my third row out the day I brought the thing home. I like having the extra storage capacity in the back. But a Suburban is built on a truck frame, so it is the size of a truck, like a pickup truck. It's big, and I can't open the back doors or the hatch, which has the window that flips up and then like the truck tailgate that comes down. So because the battery's dead, those things won't open. So I'm climbing through the front seat. And I get my battery thing. I'm all like, go Denise, you're so independent. And I reach to pull the latch to open the hood of my car so that I can attempt this jumpstart your own car thing. So I pull the latch, nothing's happening. In fact, it feels a little wiggly instead of just that stiff like click and you hear the thing pop, the hood. And then you go, wiggle your fingers and find the right spot and, open the hood of your car. Well, nothing's happening. In fact, the handle that you pull to open it is kind of falling off in my hand, and I can tell that on the inside it's really not connected anymore. And now I'm like, oh, fork. So I'm at a loss. How do you get the hood to open if the hood won't open? It has to release that little bit for you to get your fingers in to squeeze or lift or push or whatever your car happens to have to actually open the hood. I go next door to my neighbor, who I haven't seen in 2 weeks because we're all self-quarantining, and I knock on his door and explain my situation. He comes out to take a look for me, and he was at a loss too. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, I think a mechanic would have to get this open because it seems like, the cable, he's like, the plastic piece that holds you could get the molding off, like, that's near the door to see where, like, the latch attaches. Part of the round thing that attaches it to so that when you pull, it pulls the cable. Part of the plastic thing had broken. It's so weird because I've opened the hood like, everybody does, to put in like windshield washer fluid and stuff. Never had a problem with it. So all of a sudden today it's broken and I can't open it and my battery is dead on the same day. Conspiracy theory? I say yes. Do I have any proof? No. Anyway, there are bigger conspiracy theories that people are worried about, which at this point, people don't even talk to me about it because I'm so done listening to every crazy theory out there, regarding the elephant in the room, the coronavirus. I don't even want to hear it anymore. But I'm willing to hear a good conspiracy theory of how my battery died and the ability to open my the hood of my car. It seems to have been, magically broken on the same day. Yes, conspiracy theory there. I will listen to comments about that. Okay, so being the very kind and neighborly person that you do find much more in a rural community, my neighbor offers to drive me. I explained to him that I was going to the pharmacy, and he offers to drive me, which was really, really nice of him, especially when you consider in these times how, people won't go near each other. But he's been practicing social distancing. I have been, my son and I have been home for over 2 weeks. At his job, he works, my neighbor, outside. He does like landscaping type stuff. He does not work close to other people. And so we decide we can trust each other to, without lysoling each other, to get in the car and go to the pharmacy. Now it's occurring to me as I'm at the pharmacy getting my Ambisol that, and some Sudafed. You remember the days, or is it just old people like me, where you could just buy real Sudafed without having to show your driver's license? Those, I have to keep watching my potty mouth today. The drug dealers who decided that you could use Sudafed to make crystal meth really ruined life for the rest of us who have sinus problems. Because that cheap crap that they put in now as the decongestant in any, cold or cough or allergy medicine that says it has a nasal decongestant, it doesn't work for some people. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't clear up my nose. I always go to the pharmacy and buy the real Sudafed, the one, the actual pseudoephedrine that the drug was named for, that you have to show your license to purchase it, because people apparently, however many years ago when they started doing this, and it's been quite a few years, I realize. So if you're a younger person, you might not even know what I'm talking about. But actual pseudoephedrine used to be the nasal decongestant that was in all of your over-the-counter, like cold and allergy medicines. So I digress. I get my stuff, and I say to my neighbor, Tom, who is, again, lovely and helpful, I say, Tom, being that my car is now a truck-sized paperweight in the driveway, and I don't know if mechanics are considered, New York State is on pause. Only essential businesses are open. And I don't know that mechanic shops are considered essential businesses, let alone do I have any way of getting this truck-sized vehicle to a mechanic. Anyhow. So yeah, my car is pretty much a paperweight, and my son and I, not only are we by choice isolating, now we're stuck here without a car that works. I don't live in walking distance of anything. I mean, maybe if you're super fit, you consider like 9 miles each way to be walking distance to get to town. But then if you bought anything, you have to carry it back. First of all, between the spinal cord injury, which really, did damage the muscles in my legs, yeah, I walk around the house and do regular stuff. I lose my balance and fall. Um, but I can't walk long distances. I can't anymore. That's why I own a mobility scooter for, long distance type walking and stuff. I certainly could not. And I'm not suggesting anyone drive one of those on roads into town. Please don't think that's what I'm suggesting. But getting to town is not something I'm going to be able to do. And like, as we were at the pharmacy, it occurred to me like, holy crap, if we need to get back out to the store, I can't. So I asked Tom, would he mind stopping off at Tops, which is our little local supermarket. And I was like, I'm just going to run in for a few things. And I swear, I really did believe I was just going to run in for a few things. Of course, I didn't have any, shopping bags with me because I thought I was just going to the pharmacy when I left the house. So I get in there. The first thing I do is grab like 3 of the $1 shopping bags because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pick up some extra things because who knows when I'm going to be able to get out of the house again now that my car is dead. So, a pandemic, a broken tooth, this isn't bad enough. Now my car is dead. Well, I ended up having to buy like an extra, I think, 3 or 4 more bags because I was like, well, if I'm not getting out of the house again, I definitely need this, and I definitely need this, and I definitely need that. Oh, like the shopping cart was like, piled high. So yeah, I had to apologize to Tom for making him wait so long. He was a totally good sport about it. And so I brought everything home. Now, while I have mentioned on previous videos, and if you've never watched any of my videos before, welcome to my channel. I'm Denise. You probably figured that from the name of the channel. And my hair doesn't always look this bad. I have not gotten in the shower yet. Sometimes, like if I'm still in my pajamas, like first thing in the morning video, you see me like in pajamas or a nightgown. The hair is bad, it's because I haven't gotten in the shower yet. It's afternoon. My son just showered a little while ago, and yeah, I'm waiting for the water heater to be full because I plan on taking a nice, long, hot shower. So I decided to do a kind of lighter-hearted, instead of the proper, and I'm not going to give improper advice, but we've all been told, obviously there's the stay-at-home and the social distancing. Yes, take it very seriously. And yes, you want to be eating nutritiously to keep your immune system where it should be. And if you are someone who takes your vitamins and supplements, as someone who had weight loss surgery, I've shown you before. I don't think I really should. Well, I can show you. Yeah, there, because I put it on kind of high today. There it is, right at the top of my shoulder. Not a nicotine patch, folks. It's a vitamin patch. As someone who had weight loss surgery and therefore eats very little for the rest of my life, this is how I got to take my vitamins. I mean, I could try to get down all those pills, but considering I can barely get down enough food, I don't want to fill my stomach with pills and possibly irritate it with too many vitamins. So, yeah. And I did recently order a 6-month supply of them, which I got just in case. So anyway, while I was out, I thought, there's no point in buying a ton of fresh produce. I have a Fruit of the Month subscription from Harry and David's, which, yes, it's a little pricey, but it's also premium fruit, and it's like a treat. Plus, I occasionally will order something extra from them. Like yesterday, we got pears and apples, and 3 different kinds of cheese came. My son dug into that, and it makes me happy that during this time, it's like, yeah, getting some really premium fresh fruit, and maybe some cheeses he hasn't tried before, and, I'd rather he be snacking on that than on junk food and chips all the time, which I think 17-year-olds, at least mine, would live on Chef Boyardee and Doritos if you let them. Now, nothing against either of those products, but they can't be your whole meal, your whole diet. So, I have been trying to eat as healthily as I can. I've been throwing in extra calories because as I've mentioned in previous videos, I continued losing weight after I decided that this is where I wanted to maintain, and definitely these have been stressful times. since deciding I wanted to maintain. My father got sick and passed away. The coronavirus thing. Now, the tooth thing. I had a major nausea thing for which I started on medical marijuana. And guess who is not driving back down near the combat zone, closer to New York City? The dispensary I go to is 4 hours from my house, and it's 4 hours south, which means 4 hours closer. Now, it's not in New York City by any stretch. But first of all, medical marijuana, if it's in your state, if it's legal, it's expensive. It's very expensive, and I'm sorry, but the fact that it's legal, I think your insurance should cover it, but they don't. It's not like they're handing you, like, here's some weed. I mean, it's in capsule form or drops that you put under your tongue. I personally make sure I get the stuff that's made from the indica blends, which are less psychoactive. I'm not looking to get high, people. I was never a recreational drug user before, not looking to be one now. I get the indica blend 1-to-1 THC CBD, which is for pain relief. I have intractable migraines, and I also have inflammatory bowel disease. Now, I also, after the weight loss surgery, was having a horrible problem with nausea and not being able to get enough fluids in, and I kept needing to end up at urgent care or the emergency room getting IV fluids. Well, guess who ran out of her medical marijuana yesterday? So I'm really hoping that the migraines and the nausea don't come back, because right now I would just be screwed. I've already lost 20 pounds more than I wanted to, and that's taking something that makes you hungry, you know? I mean, let's face it, marijuana, as someone who never used it recreationally, you hear people joke about the munchies. It's a real thing. It does make you hungry. I usually take my dose at night to avoid that, because I want to sleep through that, because I wanted to maintain my weight. Now that I can't seem to eat enough calories that are healthy, I would welcome taking some in the daytime. But mostly I'm just concerned that the nausea is going to come back. But with all of that aside, I'm now going to show you, while I was out, did I store up on yet more canned vegetables or frozen meat, which we already have a bunch of? No, I totally went for the screw healthy. I'm getting the stuff that's going to make us happy for the next couple weeks. Let's hope it's a few weeks. I mean, I'm not buying into that by Easter we're all going to be congregating in large groups, because I think that would be the equivalent of mass suicide, especially for someone like myself who has asthma, which is underlying respiratory condition. Yeah, that puts me in the category of people who die from COVID-19. So I was like, I've got plenty of healthy food. I've been working on serving us healthy dishes every night. My son has started taking a multivitamin every day. You know, like I showed you, I get my multivitamins every day. So what does the well-prepared with healthy food person decide to get and keep on hand during their time they're stuck at home? That is what I wanted to show you. It took me 23 minutes to get here, and for that I apologize. Okay, those of you who've watched before know that, and again, I know the hair looks terrible. Please excuse. I will be showering shortly. Not that you'll be seeing that, but trust me, I will not look like the grease bomb here that I'm feeling like. By the time I finish filming this, hopefully there will be a tank full of hot water and I will be taking a shower. If you know my love of Harry and David's Moose Munch, to me this is the crack of snack foods. I was never a fan of sweet popcorn. I liked my popcorn straight up salty. Never ate the kettle corn, never ate the Cracker Jacks. You know, those were not my things. This was a game changer. I adore this. As you can see, I got two of the big. It's not like one big bucket. It had three. As you can see, it had three different flavors: milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and classic. I already ate, I think, the dark chocolate, and I'm now working my way through the milk chocolate. And then I have a whole second one that I have not opened yet. Then we got the giant thing of little pretzel square. Are they squares, or they're more like little pretzel grids, aren't they? But I like that they're in a plastic container because I figure anything that's in like more of like a traditional just plastic bag that most of your snacks come in, I figure I can always pour them into that container. Then, to go with the spray cheese, which is in one of these bags, got some of these in case I get tired of having my spray cheese. This just isn't going to stack back up. In case I get tired of having my spray cheese on pretzels, why not have some crackers? The all important. Now, I was trying to be organized by putting everything on the bed so that it would be like, oh, I can just reach everything without having to keep turning my back to you. It's not working. I drink Diet Peach Snapple all the time. Love it. And as someone who's lost weight, I do not drink calories unless it's a protein shake. Like, that's practically like religion. Do not drink your calories. I drink Crystal Light, I drink Diet Snapple, I drink other things that have no calories. Considering that I'm like, Denise, you're stuffing your face with chocolate-covered popcorn because you're trying to get extra calories in. You can let yourself drink some calories. So yes, I treated myself to some Snapple Apple, which is full of empty calories and sugar. But if you've never had it, it's awesome. So yeah, letting myself drink some of these. I got a 12-pack. I figured I'll split them with my son. And I can secretly hope that he doesn't like them, and maybe then I'll get more than half. Next, see, I did. I had one of the apples over here, and then I had one of my beloved Diet Peach. Next we have, again, absolute necessities if we want to keep our sanity during this difficult time. The last time I was at Walmart, I was like, ooh, look at these different kinds of Milanos that I've never seen before. I'm a fan of the normal Milano, but they had cinnamon chocolate Milanos. Who wouldn't want that? Like, Denise, how many Milanos did you buy? I only bought 4 Milanos. But there's some chocolate in here too. Banana chocolate Milanos. Didn't know those existed. In fact, I believe I got 2 of those. And then a classic, which I knew existed and I've had before and loved, that would be the raspberry Milano. So yeah, as you can see, the low carb has gone out the window in the desperate attempts to keep my weight where it is at. There's also, these were actually, I got these before everyone went nuts, so they're actually on sale, and I'm thinking maybe that's because they have like a picture of s'mores on them, so they are more oriented to the warmer weather. But yeah, I got three boxes of, packs of, what are there, like 6 chocolate bars in each one. So yep, that's the chocolate bars and cookies. Me, the person usually preaching low carbs, high protein, trying to eat meat, which has been the hardest thing for me to eat ever since the weight loss surgery. I get like 2 bites down and I just can't eat anymore. I'm so full, almost to the point of really being uncomfortable. The overly processed foods that just basically turn to paste the second they hit saliva, now that stuff I can eat. I don't want to lose any more weight. If you saw my legs, believe me, you would understand. I've got the knobbiest knees, and I was someone who was referred to as thunder thighs through many years of their life. Even when I wasn't actually fat, I was a horseback rider from the time I was 10 years old. So I had like very muscular legs, like a soccer player or a weightlifter, and then of course, after puberty, most of us women gain our weight in our hips and thighs and butt. And I never had a big butt, but my thighs definitely did gain some weight, so that on top of the muscle made my legs look pretty big. If you saw them now, no. I would rather have the thunder thighs back than have the skinny little chicken legs that I got right now. So yes, I will be stuffing these carbs down my gullet, and they will digest so much easier. I'm drinking protein shakes, by the way, just for those who are wondering. I'm not replacing all of my protein with crap food because that would not be healthy. I'm drinking my protein shakes to get the amount of protein in I need so that I make sure I don't lose any more muscle mass. But I am definitely adding the calories in, the extra calories to try to stop the weight loss. I'm adding them in the easy to digest way, which unfortunately is the processed, the cookies, the chocolate. And while Moose Munch isn't terribly processed, you'd be amazed at how much I can eat. I mean, I'm sure a person who hasn't had weight loss surgery could eat more at one time, but like, I'll have a handful, and 10 minutes later I'll have another handful, and 10 minutes later I'll have another handful. And before you know it, that little bag of Moose Munch, I mean, these have 3 larger bags. They're not single portion bags. In fact, the one that's open, I can show you. Like, here's the one I'm working on. You can, like, see, you can see the Moose Munch. I can show it to you. It's beautiful. Some of the pieces are covered in chocolate, and some of them are just covered in buttery toffee goodness. And I would start eating that now, except that would be just so rude. And then, like, here's a full bag. So 3 of these bags came in each one of these, like, little drum-shaped things. So, yeah, not quite as easy to eat as, say, cookies or pretzels, which, like I said, essentially turn to mush once they get into your mouth. Something else I'm eating a lot of, and, give myself a little pat on the back. Homemade biscotti. I've mentioned these before. If you have, like, pound cake or sliced cake, a lot of times at the store, they don't sell it. Like, when I was a kid, when you bought a pound cake, at least at my house, we bought the frozen Sara Lee one that you just sat out for and let it thaw. And it was like a loaf, like you'd bake a small loaf cake, like if you're doing a zucchini bread or something. Now more of the stores seem to sell their cakes like already sliced in a package of maybe 6 or 8 slices. So I had gotten some. Originally I made it out of ones that were getting stale. Not moldy, but just stale because it's so dry. So I dehydrated that. I cut them in pieces. The slices of cake, I cut them into like these, more like cookie-shaped pieces, and I dehydrated them in the oven. These are lemon. I think lemon is my favorite. So I have those, and then when I was at a different store, I got, here's the rest of the lemon that didn't fit. I've mentioned I had some cinnamon rolls. The ones that are covered with like the layer of white sugar on top. They also have been sitting a while. Again, no mold, but getting dry. And I was like, you know what? What can happen? The worst that happens is nobody eats them. And the way they're sitting here, nobody's going to eat them. So I broke them up into pieces and dehydrated them. And I love them. Last night I was sitting here munching these as I was getting ready to go to sleep. And no, the scale did not move upward, but at least it didn't move downward. So stuffing my face full of cookies, if my nutritionist could see this, she would probably not be thrilled. But like I said, I don't want to lose any more weight. And the healthy stuff just isn't fattening enough. I eat yogurt every day. I drink protein shakes every day. But I'm so accustomed to buying the high protein brands because I need the protein, that the ones that are actually really good for you, not just like, Boost or Slim Fast, or, the ones that people think of because they've been around a long time, they're full of carbs and they're not particularly high protein. So they're not the ones I buy. I buy the Quest. If you're going to buy Ensure, it's the Max Protein is the only Ensure that is good for someone who's on a high protein, relatively low carb diet. In fact, has less carbs than Glucerna, which is made specifically for diabetics, and more protein. So, yes, I do drink the protein shakes that are made for people like myself who need the maximum amount of protein, and they do keep the carbs low and it keeps the calories low, which while you're losing weight, you need that. Right now, I wouldn't mind if they had more calories in them. But I've got this. Now, what else have you got? You hoarder of junk food, you. I bought 2 boxes of these. They're just plain old bite-sized Nilla wafers. Well, they're not the brand name Nilla wafers, are they? They are, I think, where did I get them? I think I got them at Dollar Tree. I think I got these at Dollar Tree. I bought 2 boxes. I had great ambitions of making like a, I don't know if your grandmother made it. If you're in the South, I think you'll all know what I'm talking about. It's a Southern thing in the United States. I mean, people eat it in the North, but it's really a Southern thing. Banana pudding with Nilla wafers. And then I have never done the Southern version where you bake it with the meringue on top. I've seen people do it. Not in person. I've watched videos of people do it. Looks interesting. I've never had that. So I was kind of thinking of trying that. I bought 2 boxes of these and my son immediately grabbed one. And I was like, you know what? I'm grabbing one. Because he gets to eat all of the flavored salty snacks that I wish I could eat. I'm allergic to MSG. Most of your salty snacks, there are very few. And like here's an example. Regular cheddar goldfish. I'm not talking flavor blasted. I'm not talking any of the newer pizza not that the pizza flavor is new, but the pizza flavored or some of the newer flavors have MSG in them. The plain old cheddar ones is one of the few salty type snacks that has any taste that I can eat. So we bought a box with 30 of these little packs, and I did take 15 of them. He has a whole bunch of bags of stuff that he has that I can't eat. From my childhood, I remember thinking they were a little bit strange and not the most exciting cookie in the world, but they grew on me. The Pepperidge Farm Chessman cookies. So this is 9... Am I holding it the right way for you to see this? Yes. 9 packs of 3 cookies. Personally, I think these are good for like dunking in some tea or hot chocolate. Not really a big coffee person. That's putting it mildly. I drink coffee if there's nothing else to drink and it's being offered to me. Me making coffee for myself is a very, very, very rare thing. It has to be very flavored, and I put so much like cream and sugar that it's like, would you like some coffee with your cream and sugar? But as far as like, they bring back childhood memories, and so it was like, aw, look at the Chessman cookies in the little package. So yeah, I grabbed some of that. And I bought these before I got the big bag. These are the honey wheat pretzel braids, which I really like. The penny sticks honey wheat pretzel braids. So, yes. Is there anything else in here? Some Rolos. Yeah. The rest of it is basically my share of the 15 packs of Goldfish crackers. But yeah, I bought a bag of Rolos, which are one of my favorite candies. And right now I feel like you can't have too much chocolate on hand. What if all of a sudden you couldn't get chocolate? Other people are worrying about toilet paper. I'm worrying about chocolate. I've got toilet paper. I mean, I think we've got enough toilet paper for the time being. I'm hoping people are going to relax soon and realize you don't have to, buy 40 rolls every time you go to the store. Um, but if the stores were to run, and now I can't even get to the store because my car is dead. So chocolate's important, people. Chocolate is important. If you don't think so, I don't think we can be friends. I understand if you have a health reason that you can't eat it, then you're forgiven for not recognizing it as being one of the major food groups. But for me, while I was dieting, I didn't want to say dieting. While I was on the actively losing weight part after my weight loss surgery, the only chocolate I was tasting was straight up cocoa powder that you use for baking. I would sometimes put that in my, like if I was making a smoothie for breakfast, because it really it hasn't been sweetened or full of fat or anything yet. So I could add that and then some calorie-free sweetener to give a pleasant chocolate taste, because if you've ever tasted the powdered baking chocolate by itself, it's actually quite bitter. So now that I'm actually trying not to lose weight, hell yeah, I'm going back to having some chocolate every day. Okay, if that was a little too enthusiastic, I apologize. But if any of you are wondering how I felt about chocolate, now you know. What else do we have here? Oh, I planned on being super organized, and I was going to be writing this journal that would be worthy of, being published. Like, it would be a classic. It was going to outline daily life of the average American while they went through this hard time, which may last a while. And I was going to write detailed notes every day of the passing of the hours, and I wrote one day, and then I was like, every day is exactly like the next. What am I going to write? Got up, had a protein shake, weighed the same thing as I did yesterday, or, in some cases lost a little bit. When you're staying home doing, binge watched on YouTube and on Amazon Prime Video, nobody's going to want to read that crap. Nobody. I wouldn't want to reread it. So, so much for the grand, the next great American, well, it wouldn't be a novel, would it? And I don't even want to jokingly refer to, compare it to some other well-known diaries of people who have gone through horrible things, because I would not want to offend anyone. But instead, I realized what I thought would be these, flowing pages of prose, because, as you know, I can talk. And I can write just as much as I can talk. At least until my hand hurts. I have a little arthritis in my hand. And it would happen to be these 3 fingers, which are kind of important when you're writing. Anyway, all of this stuff, was going to take up an entire journal, if not more than one. I realized today I fit it all onto my calendar. I have it upside down. Yeah, pretty much everything just got shoved in a box, or maybe went across a couple boxes. If nothing happened during those 3 days, I could let myself write a little bigger. So much for the next great American novel being my experience during the pandemic. Instead, it will just be scrawls on a calendar. Oh well, we can't do everything at once, I'm not saying I'm not going to be the next great American novelist. Just, I don't think the subject will be binge watching Netflix. Over here we have, back to the things you have to have while you're stuck in the house. And you're like, dear God, Denise, wash your hair. I know. Believe me. And the grays are back. Remember, it took me months to get around to dyeing it. And then the blue didn't come out the color I wanted. You can still see a little bit of the blue. For a while, my little tanzanite earrings were picking up the blue so perfectly. I was like, Who's more color coordinated than me? My favorite earrings match my hair. The grays are already completely showing, and of course right around my face is like all gray, so it's all showing. And I can't, oh yeah, I just dug up more gray. That really helped. Yeah, you see all those stripes? Isn't that attractive? I shouldn't have done that. I was thinking maybe parting it somewhere different. You wouldn't see as much gray. Now I'm just poofing up the greasy gray hair. Someone stop me. Okay. That was Snapple moving next to me. All right. The next bag. Don't laugh. Some people think I was actually made fun of, called a hoarder. I think, now, I watch some dumpster diving channels. I'm not someone who dumpster dives all the time. Have I done it? Sure I have. Do I think it's good to save things from going to the landfill if they can still serve a purpose? Whether it's a furniture item, a household item, food that's still good. I absolutely 100% support people doing that, because food waste in America, while people are starving, is out of control. Having said that, I got a whole case of, I believe it's 36 boxes of these Lemonhead candy canes. Now, Lemonheads are one of my very favorite hard candies. This box was still in its factory sealed carton. They never even opened it and put it out on the shelves, apparently, before they threw it away. And I was like, hell yeah. I grabbed that. Now, people were like, Denise, what are you going to do with 36 boxes of candy canes? And to me, it's like, okay, it's shaped like a cane, and yeah, it conveniently could hang on a tree. But guess what, people? It's hard candy. I looked at the sell-by dates on the cartons, and they ranged, because I got some different... This I got a whole case of. And these I got an even bigger case of. These are like the cherry-flavored, multicolored ones. The dates are like 2 years from now. They're not just going to be good for this Christmas, 2020. They're going to be good for Christmas of 2021. And one of them was good until July of 2022. So it was like 2 more Christmases and then half a year to eat it. So to me, it's like, yeah, it might be candy cane shape. You break it up, it's hard candy. Why would you throw it away just because it's in the shape of a candy cane? Why wouldn't you donate it to a food pantry? Why wouldn't people want this? Yeah, it's shaped like a candy cane. Who cares? I'm not even Christian. I don't even have a Christmas tree. I have no problem eating this. It's hard candy, people. And it really doesn't go bad. And they're all individually wrapped inside their boxes even. I mean, the packaging is intact on a box, which was inside a factory-sealed case that was never even opened. And then the individual, the package is sealed, and the individual candy canes are wrapped. You know these things are staying good for a couple of years. I'm not going to have to buy hard candy, like, ever. So I got full cases of the Lemonheads and the cherry, as I showed you. And then there was another case where it looked like they took the ones that they maybe had opened the factory case on one of them, because I forget what it said on the outside of the case. And they must have just not displayed all of them, not had enough room. Because I got, I want to say, maybe about a dozen boxes of the Jolly Rancher ones. Not Jolly Rancher, Now and Later. And then these, I have no idea what brand it is. I think it's just like some unheard of brand. And it says they're blueberry artificially flavored. So I got a bunch of these too, although nowhere near as many as I got of the Lemonhead and the cherry. These are apple. Oh, very happy with the apple. I don't know how I'm going to feel about these. I didn't try these yet. I have tried the apple. I'm like, as far as like Jolly Ranchers, the apple were always my favorite. And this reminds me of that. So yeah, I've got 10,000 candy canes. When my son and I did our last shopping spree at Dollar Tree, got a package of the, jelly orange slices. They're not really what I wanted. They look very similar. You know the Cadbury eggs that have, not the cream eggs that look like they have an egg yolk inside? Not a fan. I realize a lot of people are, but the ones that just look like this, they're just like a candy shell on the outside. Can you see them, people? They're, like a candy shell on the outside and then just milk chocolate on the inside. Well, Cadbury does those, and they're only out around Easter. And I do have some because I bought one package, not knowing I wouldn't have the opportunity to get out and get another package. But when I was at the store, they only had the tiniest little display of Easter candy today, and this was the closest thing, was the Hershey eggs. Now, I like Hershey's chocolate, obviously, so I assume I'm going to like these. Some butterscotch hard candy. Most people I know like that. I like it. Now we go back to the, really, Denise, someone on a diet shouldn't be eating this. Oh yes, I like my my chocolate chip cookies to have M&Ms in them. Chocolate chips aren't enough. They've got to have M&Ms on them. Just have to. Don't get me wrong, I won't turn down a good chocolate chip cookie without them, but I sure prefer one with them. And then because I can't make up my mind and Little Debbie is still reasonably cheap, I love the Cosmic Brownies. Yeah, they're not like homemade brownies. They're not even trying to pretend to be like homemade brownies. They're their own thing, but I love them. And then the strawberry shortcake rolls. So I got my son and I each a package of each. What's left in here would be what's left of the assortment. I'd gotten an assortment of 12 packs of Moose Bunch in different flavors. Like we've got milk chocolate covered, which, notice how the ones I showed you before, some of the pieces had chocolate on it and some of it didn't. These, all of the pieces have chocolate. So I've got that milk and milk. Then we've got s'mores flavor and classic caramel. And then we've got dark chocolate salted caramel and Cinnabon. And last but not least, we have cranberry almond. And Moose Munch not only has the popcorn and the chocolate, but there's like nuts in it. I believe it's almonds and cashews. So, yeah. Very important if you're stuck in the house to have your share of, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown if I don't have some candy. We've all been there. At least those of us, who've had weight issues. Obviously, I'm not really worried about overeating because I can't do that anymore. And I'm not even enough eating. So, as long as I keep up the protein shakes, I figure. Last bag. As I was saying, I am very limited in the salty snack department because anything that has a flavor generally has MSG in it. So I did get myself, while I got him all the flavored chips and nacho chips and potato chips, got myself just a bag of lightly salted, and the original plain Sun Chips do not have MSG. The cheese flavored ones do, which makes me sad because I wish I could eat them. Oh, yes, here we are. You got to have your spray cheese for your pretzels and your crackers. Now, I have tons of real cheese in the house, which is what my son is using on his crackers. But I got this. I don't even know what flavor these are. I haven't read the package that carefully. But the little green frogs just appeared to me. They're gummy in consistency. I'm hoping they're apple. I suppose they could be lime. I suppose they could just be generic fruit flavor. I didn't put on my reading glasses, so I don't know. Yeah, I picked up a box of biscotti. A bag of biscotti. I'm going to be drinking more tea and hot chocolate. Gotta have something to dunk in it. I love these. Right now, I think if I chewed them, I would probably just burst into tears. But eventually, I'm hoping to have my tooth fit. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing like this thing, like trying not to let any of it drool over to the other side of my mouth where the crater up into my jaw goes. But we'll try not to think about that. And here we have the Keebler, what I consider knockoffs of the Girl Scout cookies. You all know which Girl Scout cookies these look like. The Samoas, right? So I got them. I got like a couple different kinds of cookies, and it's funny when we buy a bunch of candy or cookies or stuff, my son and I'll do like take turns. Okay, you pick first, I pick second. You pick next, I pick. So he picked one that he liked better, and then I got that. And just to be somewhat healthy also, I did get this. It was on clearance. It was marked down a little bit. I did get some almond butter just to make things a little different from peanut butter. And I believe that is the end. You're like, please let it be the end, Denise. Dear God, how much junk food does one person need? But considering we don't know how long it has to last, and considering that my car is now dead, so I won't be one of those people who can be like, oh, it's, very early or, getting late. Probably a good time to go to the store. I don't have the option of that because my car is dead in the driveway. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as far as having stocked up on junk food. One thing I will give you just a little hint. My next video is going to be preparing to start seeds for my arrow garden and deciding what I'm going to grow. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably do that today or tomorrow. And thank you for watching. I had no idea I would spend this long talking about snacks and stuff. But I do think it's important to keep our spirits up. Yes, we want to eat healthy. Yes, if you're someone who needs any sort of nutritional supplements, and of course, they're okay with your doctor. I'm not telling anybody to take anything. But yeah, keep up your normal health regime as much as you can in these trying times. But if it's not something that will hurt your health, I'm certainly not suggesting that diabetics go out there and binge on chocolate or cookies or anything. Having just some fun comfort food or candy can really make you feel a little better. And it might look like a ton, but if it has to last a few months, it won't feel like a ton. And thank you so much for watching. As always, I do truly appreciate that you take your time. I know there are a million things to watch, and the fact that you take the time to watch my videos is something that I do appreciate, and I mean that to each and every one of you. Please subscribe and like, and feel free to comment. I do respond to comments, and I hope you're staying safe. I hope you and your family are doing well, and let's stop this thing in its tracks. Let's all, as many of us as possible. I realize there are people. I was a nurse for 26 years. My spinal cord damage is what ended my career. So I certainly can sympathize that my fellow healthcare workers, providers, have to go to work, and that other emergency responders, that people who are in retail and areas that can sell us food and medicine and things have to go to work. But if you're someone who doesn't have to go to work, please stay home. Please practice social distancing while you're in the stores or out in public anywhere. Let's all get through this with as few people getting sick as possible. And none of us none of us as Americans like being told what to do. It's one of the great things about us, but at times like this, it's not a great thing about us. Countries that are used to like the government saying jump and they say how high are the countries that are getting this under control faster. So as much as we don't like giving up what we see as our civil liberties, I think we have to think in the best interest, not just of ourselves as individuals, but of the elderly and other more vulnerable people that are going to die if we don't stop the spread of this. So take care of yourself, entertain yourself at home in whatever way you can. I'll be back to listening to my semi-smutty romance novel audiobooks. I'll be watching more so-so rom-com movies on Amazon Prime that I would probably never waste the time watching. I will be binging some of my favorite channels to catch up on anything I missed on YouTube. And I'll be trying to engage my son in some activities. Not easy. Teenage boy. He's on the computer talking with his brother and his friends and stuff. My older son, who's 22, is living with my mom. My dad passed away actually January 1st this year. My mom is in her mid-70s and my older son is with her. It's hard not being able to go visit them right now. They're 4 hours away and they are much closer to New York City than we are. There are a lot more outbreaks in their state, in their county rather, and it just wouldn't be wise for us to travel down there, and I certainly do not want to risk my mother's health. So, having said that, remember, it's not just you or the people in your house. Anytime you go anywhere, it's anyone that you might not realize you're carrying it on your hands, or that you've contracted it but aren't asymptomatic. Just do the right thing. Listen to the health professionals. Listen to Dr. Fauci. Politicians have their own agenda. The World Health Organization and the CDC want to see as many of us alive when this is over as possible. And I'm not saying just one political party. I'm saying all of them. Don't listen to politicians tell you when it's healthy to do something. Listen to the medical experts, the epidemiologists, the people who understand how disease spreads and how long it takes before it's really safe to be back out there again without just causing another spike. I'll stop preaching. God, I've been talking for an hour. If you hung in there this whole time, I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, like I said, and those around you, and stay in touch with people by other means. Write a letter, send an email, call them on the phone. It is hard, and I especially feel for people who are home alone. I have my son with me, who, he's 17, so he's old enough to be actual real company, as opposed to a young child who just needs care and doesn't, is having a hard time understanding why they can't do their regular things or go to their regular places. So I certainly empathize for people who are in that situation. Be well until we speak again, which will hopefully be soon. And then I'll be showing you my seed collection and how I'm trying to figure out what I can best grow, considering I want to start soon, which means converting one of my extra rooms, which has basically been used as storage, into a grow room. I have grow lights. I'm a plant person, so I have grow lights, and I certainly have a large seed collection, and I'm going to try to set that up. First thing will be getting my Aero Garden to get my seedlings started, and then figuring out how I'm going to plant them and how I'm going to arrange the lights. So that will be its own video. Hopefully, like I said, today or tomorrow. Anyway, stay well, stay safe, stay 6 feet away from everybody else if you have to be out. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.